Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you, Officer
Good.
Muhammad?
I'm just well, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sarah Garrigal, and I work with the Living Archives Project, where we are collecting stories of how COVID-19 impacted various communities in Charlotte-Mecklenburg County. Today is February 13th, 2023, and this week there were 164 reported cases of COVID-19 in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg County area. But this actually shows a 23% decrease over the last 2 weeks.
So it's getting better.
So it's getting a little better. We are both comfortable wearing our masks today to honor and respect each other. Officer Muhammad, will you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Officer Muhammad. I am an armed security guard here at the library. I am approximately 6'4", brown skin, African American male. And I'm here doing this interview today.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing,
ma'am.
Officer Muhammad. And thank you so much for doing this interview with us. And thank you for protecting us here at the library.
Absolutely.
And
Not a
being
problem.
our security.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell me a little bit about yourself, Officer Muhammad?
Absolutely. Family man. So I have 3 children. My son is a second year of college, studying sports medicine. I have 2 girls, 15 and 13. Well, 12. She'll be 13 on the 17th. So she's, she thinks she's grown now.
Yeah.
So one daughter runs track for the high school. My other daughter, the 12-year-old, she does cheerleading competition. So they keep me busy, keep me young. They keep me young.
I bet.
Yes, ma'am. I am a veteran of 21 years of service.
Wow.
So salute to all my soldiers.
Yes,
ma'am.
Thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
We appreciate you.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Muhammad. Are you from Charlotte or did you move from somewhere else?
Born and raised in New Jersey.
Okay.
Moved here to Union County.
Okay.
I've been here for 8 years now.
Okay.
And I love it here.
Yeah.
It's great for the kids. The weather's great, pretty much all year round.
Yeah, no snow.
Right.
I'm a northerner too, so
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
what those
Yes,
cold
ma'am.
winters going to be like.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, man. So, Officer Muhammad, you were a veteran for a very long time.
Yes,
How was that experience for you?
Great experience. As an American, for those of us who are able to serve, you take an oath. And, you put your life on the line for other Americans who are unable to serve and protecting their freedom and liberties.
Yeah.
So at any cost, I took that oath.
That's amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much for that. Can you tell me a little bit about actually, we did this activity together called a hand map.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share with me anything from your hand map?
So this is my hand map, guys.
Awesome.
Right, and this is great. It's a great tool. So for my map, so from my experience with this whole COVID situation, I've gained a lot of good things from it, right? Employment. So I am vaccinated. Didn't have a problem with taking the vaccine. If there's any plagues or anything that's going on, they come up with a vaccine. I think everyone should take it, but people have their reserves, and we don't do the politics. So
Yeah.
I got vaccinated. I'm up to date on all vaccines.
Okay.
Or boosters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm all up to date. And mainly because, I have children in the home who are also vaccinated. And didn't want those guys to get sick, or I didn't want to lose a young child because she wasn't vaccinated or he wasn't vaccinated. So this COVID thing was serious business for me.
Yeah.
Very serious. I've watched a lot of people die, right? Lonely, alone. I watched a lot of people die alone. So, COVID has its sad parts, right?
Yeah.
And most importantly, we found not a cure for it, but some protection, which was great.
Yeah.
I was excited. So, we got vaccinated.
Yeah.
Also, And it's good and it's bad because a lot of people didn't want to become vaccinated, right? So some gainful employment.
Okay.
So some good things happen out of it, right?
Yeah.
Gainful employment. Family members that we love are safe,
Yes.
right? So the numbers are down.
Yeah.
So we stop losing people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great collectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Well, you, what was it like for you? Were you working at the library as security back in 2020?
actually, I was not. So I did some some manufacturing. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've done some manufacturing, and in the manufacturing business with the COVID, so I was building the hubs and rotors for the 18-wheelers, right? Their braking systems, ABS braking systems, which was huge. So with the COVID, no trucks are moving down, right? Because you got all these mandates. And unfortunately, the company had to kind of, lay off some people because the trucking industry was at a halt. So I did that. And so I had an opportunity to be a public figure, to come out here and do security and help people. I love helping people, by the way. And it's been great. It's been a great experience. Worked for the DA's office. So I played many roles. Worked at the DA's office.
Yeah.
Did the special event when the vice president came into town.
Wow.
Worked closely with the FBI, CIA.
Okay.
For the protection of the vice president. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so COVID was bad. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's so interesting. So were you working, did you do all that stuff in the last 2 years?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was that like for you?
It was a change.
Okay.
It was definitely a change. Now we keep in mind I have 3 young kids.
Yes.
So I was able to work the schedule out and be at home with the kids, and so it worked out pretty good. Other than seeing the sick, especially the elderly people, that really affected me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little more about that.
Just watching the news. People dying alone.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Yeah.
And for those who didn't want to take the vaccine, we pray for those guys because it's living proof that this COVID is real.
Yeah.
And if we can give you an opportunity or an option to at least curb it, I think people should consider.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very difficult time.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely.
How about now? Have you feel like now with some of the restrictions, most restrictions have been lifted,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel like COVID's impacted you and your family?
It impacted me and the family in a good way.
Okay.
Restrictions have been lifted.
Yeah.
So the kids can get out and play. They can have their friendships again, develop their friendships, and people are not on 10, right?
Yeah.
So we brought it down from 10 maybe to 4 or 2, hopefully.
Yeah.
And the kids are flourishing now. At one point, you have to be careful because kids get, they get bogged down.
Mm-hmm.
They're confined.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like their mind is wandering.
Mm-hmm.
Sensory deprivation.
Mm-hmm.
So we worry about that. We try to keep a strong hold on that.
Yeah.
And so now that they lifted the ban, the kids can go out and play and mingle and focus on the important things and continue to grow.
And you mentioned that your girls, you have 2 girls or 3 girls?
2 girls.
2 girls and a boy.
Yes.
You mentioned that they're very active.
Mm-hmm.
How was that like for them? Because they were young when the COVID kind of
Yes.
happened. So that means they were probably at home for a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, for the first part, they didn't understand why daddy was keeping them confined and away from people, right? So we did this thing where I sat them down, right? And we all watched the news. We watched and we saw a lot of people that are passing and dying from COVID,
Yeah.
so they could get a general ID. Normally, you tell a kid no without an explanation, then, they kind of think that you're a bad dad.
Yeah.
So I try to explain to them and take them through the motions and, hey, come on, sit down, let's watch this program or watch TV and see what's going on with this COVID.
Yeah.
So I had to get them up to speed, especially my son, he's close to being a senior in high school at the time.
Okay.
No prom, no graduation. So it affected us in many different ways. Yeah.
And disappointing in a lot of
Yes.
ways. In terms of at that age,
Right.
to understand,
Yes, ma'am.
man,
Yes,
we can't
ma'am.
go to prom, we can't have homecoming, we can't.
Right.
He probably didn't have a graduation
Right, exactly.
ceremony. Like, that's challenging.
Yeah. You can't go to the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Right. Your friends can't come over and hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, there was a lot of downfalls with this COVID, but I believe we're on the brighter side now.
Yeah.
Much brighter now.
Really shows the resilience of humanity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For you as a father and as a security officer and a veteran, with all that you do for the community here at the library of protecting
Mhm.
staff and other patrons and doing security, do you find that the last few years have been has really impacted the people you serve?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people are homeless.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the jobs. A lot of people just don't have the resources now.
Yeah.
With this COVID. At one time, there were resources available.
Mm.
And being in this industry, protecting people.
Mhm.
And I see a lot of things on a daily basis. And you have to be resilient. You have to be a person who understands.
Yeah.
There's a million walks of life, different walks of life. And I try to, just be positive, especially when I encounter people. Because there is going to be a better day, right? There's a lot of doors that's going to be shut, but guess what? There is a door that's open.
Yeah.
So continue to have that faith and find that open door.
Yeah.
Because there's doors out there that's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I try to be positive, and I speak to people when I encounter them.
Yeah.
Just a simple hello,
Yeah.
right? Can take a person a long way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you find that due to COVID and due to restrictions and due to, not being able to hug or being able to connect with people the way we used to connect, do you find that if there are more situations that you have to step in, is there more aggression or have you found there is more negative behavior that has come recently, or is it pretty consistent in your experience?
I believe it's pretty consistent. When you encounter people, you encounter different lives,
Yeah.
different livelihoods, different attitudes on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
So when we encounter the bad attitudes and behavior, right, we try to find a way to at least make that experience pleasurable at the moment. So I have to be a stand-up guy every day for my children, for the people in the public as well.
Mhm.
And trust me, it's not easy.
Mhm.
It's not easy. So, with the COVID situation, right, at one point, you had to stand up. You had to be a stand-up person.
Yeah.
Right, because you had to be the person that understands that this COVID, so the crime rate may go up, people may give up on certain things and aspects of life, right?
Mhm.
And in this field, you can't give up.
Yeah.
So you have to be a much better person. It makes you a much better person.
Yeah.
Seeing the joy of helping the next person, oh my God, it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's very rewarding.
Oh, that's
And now that the COVID has kind of dwindled down, so you can see a difference in people's attitudes, right? Now we're able to shake hands pretty much, right? We can give you a hug. Yeah. So when the kids come in here, oh my God, I play with the kids. Yeah, I play with the kids. I help them out. I might sit them down and tie their shoes, right?
Yeah.
And these are the small things in life that makes a huge difference in the world.
Huge difference.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And please feel free, if you don't feel comfortable sharing, you don't have to. But a thought that came to me is during the last 2-3 years, there's been a lot of social justice movements, especially regarding race and police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not necessarily a police officer, but you are a security officer.
Mm-hmm.
And with your experience, what has that been like for you? Has the last few years impacted you in that way?
Absolutely. It's been disturbing, the least, because, the young people that are involved or older people that are involved, these are somebody's children. Mm-hmm. And I believe that it can be controlled. But, we have to strengthen the system, right? Mm-hmm. So for people that are in place, making all these big major decisions, they're affected as well. Yeah. But we have to come up with a much better way to run this system. It's very displeasing and disheartening to see anybody lose their lives, whether it be race, discrimination, whatever the case may be. It's saddening. And I'm the type of person, if I can make a difference, I'll try. Yeah. Trust me, I'll try. Without violence or without malice. Yeah. But we can always find a peaceful way to fix it. Yeah. Yeah. So, with that being said, police violence, wherever you go, you're going to have some issues. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of fine tuning, so hopefully we can fine tune. Yeah. Yeah. Whether you're white, black, Mexican, Puerto Rican, sometimes you become a target. Yeah. And, the way we change it is that, stay away from the high crime areas. Mm. Stay away. Mm-hmm. If it's 11, 12 o'clock at night, you're not supposed to be over here. I tell my kids, be respectful. Yeah. Most importantly, be respectful. If you get pulled over by a cop, you be polite, be mannerable. That helps you, goes a long way, because those guys have a tough job as well. Yes. Fighting crime is not easy, right? Mm-hmm. So, just be kind, be nice, and don't break the law. Yeah. It's very simple, an easy fix to the situation, right? It could be a very easy fix. I tell my son, he left out of the house one day and he had a hoodie on. And I said, young man, while you driving, don't put the hoodie on, because the police don't know you, my son. They see you with the hoodie on, and sadly, you may get profiled. Mm-hmm. But these things happen, right? And I think a lot of it starts at home. Educating your children, talking to your children, and that plays a major part in it all. Yeah. So it's very important that we have a 2-family household. Very important, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's not there, let's find a way to reach these children. Yeah. Yeah, let's find a way to reach them. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
To me, it sounds like, Officer Muhammad, you are definitely an incredible father and someone who really values his family.
I try really hard. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. As you've seen your children and you and your spouse kind of transition over the last few years, has there been significant ways that you've seen you guys transition as a whole, as a family?
Oh, absolutely. So let me tell you. So I have 3 levels to my house. So with the COVID, we used to always pay people to come inside and do work, right, or paint. So listen, the to-do list was like this. Yeah. Now it's like this, right? Yeah. Let me tell you, I, for one, instantly, the bond between the family came really closer. Because I see them every day. Yeah. I've seen them every day for weeks and weeks at a time. We did some family projects together. And mainly everybody was on the same accord, and I got to see them every day. I watched them grow. I learned their feelings. I learned their ways, some of the things they don't like, some of the things they do like.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to sit there and bond with the family, and it was awesome, right? Because now I painted 5 of the 6 bedrooms myself.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. I mean, my son kind of taped the edges, right?
Yeah.
And we all did it as a family.
Aww.
And they loved their rooms. They were so happy.
awesome.
So it was gratifying for me
Yeah.
to see that my daughters liked that daddy painted their room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of little, projects in the house I did. So in my living room on the first floor, there's 20-foot ceilings. And trust me, it was amazing because I painted it and it looks so nice. It looks so nice.
Officer Muhammad.
Yeah, it looks so nice. But for the family, it was time to learn each other.
Yeah.
And we learned each other. I learned a lot of things, especially from my son.
Yeah.
At one time, when I was raised, it's do as you're told.
Mm-hmm.
No talking back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I had to actually listen to my son because he's older now.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, you don't have a say in my house, no.
Mm-hmm.
But the amazing part of it is that we have an understanding,
Yeah.
right? And I respect him
Mm-hmm.
as a young man. I respect my daughters as young women.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell you, at one time, it was like the iron fist, man, in the house, right?
Yeah.
But the COVID kind of brought us together.
Yeah.
And I learned behaviors with my children.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different ballgame with the respect level, right? And I admire them because I gave them an opportunity to actually speak and share with me some of the things they like, some of the things they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And had not COVID hit, I probably would have never learned these things.
Yeah.
So there were good things and there were bad things.
Yeah.
The greatest thing is that we remain a unit.
Yeah.
And we bonded more so than anything.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And
And a blessing.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So something that not everyone got the opportunity to have. And so
Yes.
that's amazing that through the chaos and the crisis and the struggles that was impacting the world around us,
Yes.
that you as a family unit could connect on a deeper level and get to know each other.
Yeah. And that's so important. Knowing your children.
Mhm.
I really got to know them. My 12-year-old Madison, she does cheer competition. She's really bright, right?
Mhm.
She's like the manager on the girls' basketball team. She's only in the 8th grade.
That's amazing.
And with those things, they keeping me young,
yeah.
right? So, but dad still have to come to work, right? Because,
Yeah.
but they keep me busy.
Yeah.
And I've learned the kids, despite the negativities of COVID, the closing of schools, despite all that. So that encounter being at home was awesome.
Mhm.
It was awesome.
As you got to connect with your kids more, was there things that surprised you that they shared with you?
Oh, absolutely. As far as things that they like to do in school,
Okay.
different subject matters.
Yeah.
So, my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter, who really struggled academically,
Okay.
got her tutoring, right?
Yeah.
Did a lot of things with her. And come to find out, she got a taste of success, right? She got a taste of
Yeah.
success. She made the honor roll. And trust me, from here on out, she won't accept anything less.
Wow.
Yeah, so the light bulb went off for her.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. She loves biology,
Okay.
right? So, and what I used to do is I used to give them vocabulary words each day, maybe 2 or 3 vocabulary words a day.
Okay.
Study these because vocabulary is very important in
Yeah.
education. So it was tough in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but now, okay, Daddy, I see where this is going, right?
Mhm.
So the hard work paid off, but she's got a taste of success,
Yeah.
honor roll from here on out,
Aw,
and it
I
was
love
great.
that.
And my 12-year-old, she pays bills, right? She can go on the computer. I said, Madison, can you take care of the ADT bill? She pays bills. She makes her own dentist appointments because sometimes Daddy may forget.
Yeah.
She makes her own dentist appointment. So
Amazing.
when I come home, Dad, I have a dentist appointment such and such day, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So
Independence.
yes,
Right.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
responsibility. 'Cause
Absolutely.
You're getting older, right?
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I tell you, so 2 years ago, my son went off to college.
Okay.
And it was different for me because guess what? All the chores that I depended on him to do, he's gone now.
Yeah.
But he was just a little kid in my arms, right? He was just a little kid. Now he's gone. I was like,
that's hard. He's your first.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
that was something I had to get past.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of clinging to the girls, right? Yeah. So
Aw.
that was awesome, though. I mean, I literally watched this little boy, held him in my arms just yesterday, and now he's a second year in college. Yeah.
It's crazy how time flies by.
Oh my goodness, yes. So in that time also, he was a track guy in high school, so he did the hurdles.
Okay.
He was number 2 in the state, and number 2 at the nationals in hurdles, which is so me and him had the opportunity to go to Oregon, just me and him.
Yeah.
So you talk about bonding, right? And then now he's off to college. But these are the memories we make. Yeah, these are the good memories we make.
Yes, the memories that you get to cherish.
Absolutely.
I mean, even with this archive, think about it. Your generations from now, your great grandkids can see you sharing about your pandemic experience, but also sharing about your relationship with your son and your daughters. That is beautiful.
It's awesome. I tell you, we sometimes we take things for granted. But looking back, and I'm glad you're doing this interview because now, it does something for me.
Yeah.
So like you said, people can see this.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully somebody can learn and grow from this.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully somebody can have a great relationship with their children.
Yeah.
And have a great experience from the pandemic as well. Yes, ma'am.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. So to respect your time and our time together, I'm just going to ask you one last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any additional stories or experiences that you want to share with us before we end today?
I could talk to you all day about experiences.
Well, if there's any that come to mind, feel free to share.
Yeah. One good experience, serving the country.
Okay.
Been a lot of places, been a lot of tough spots. By the grace of God, we will make it through, but there's a lot of people that didn't make it. And my hat's off to those guys, brave soldiers, veterans, But, while you're on foreign land, it's you have a great appreciation for being home when you do come home.
Yeah.
Despite COVID, despite the homelessness, despite the mental health. And I'm an advocate, man. If I see anybody in despair, I have blankets in the trunk of my car right now. So if I see a person for the need, hopefully I can give them some comfort. I was in a position to help myself, and the best I can, I help others. I have a couple sleeping bags in the car, some blankets. I've even taken the shoes off of my feet, to give to a person. Seen a young man, it was cold out, didn't have no shoes, no socks on his feet. Young man, come take these shoes, put these shoes on. He was a little less unfortunate. But how can you stand by and see something like that? I just can't do it. So these experiences that we see and go through in life, able to help people, help anybody for that matter. These are blessings, But we do things from the kindness of our heart. If I'm in a position, if I'm in a much better position and I can help a person, man, I'll give you my last. I'll give you the food off my table, But these are the experiences that make us great people. Resilient, man. And I'm thankful. I've been blessed. And doing this video is a blessing.
Thank you.
And hopefully you can help other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Officer Muhammad, so much for sharing about yourself and your story over the last few years and how you've experienced COVID, but also just talking about your role as father and how meaningful that's to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
And as a
ma'am.
veteran, we appreciate you so much and all that you've done for our country and for everything.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.